JD here with JD Ministries, talking with you with coffee and the Word. Do you have your coffee? Do you have your Word? Today we're going to be talking about mindset. Do you have the right mindset? Can your behaviors be changed? Is Jesus responsible for those? We'll find out here in just a few. Stay with us as we mindset. We're talking about the attitude, our behaviors, our expectations, how we treat one another. Here we go. Colossians 3:12 through 14. Put on therefore as the elect of God, holy and beloved, bowels of mercy, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, and longsuffering, forbearing one another, forgiving one another. If any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also ye. And above all these things, put on charity, which is the bond of perfectness. There it is, plain and simple. Mindset. Can Jesus change our behavior? Can Jesus change our mindset? Can Jesus change our attitudes? Those are the real questions today. And the answer is simply no. He can't. Our attitudes, our behaviors, our mindsets are all products of who we are. And it's up to us to change that. Too often we think we can negotiate with God about these things. Too often we think, well, God, if you'll do this, I'll do that. Or if you'll take away this thing I'm dealing with, Lord, I'll do this for you. And we've all been there. We've all at some time or another thought, we can negotiate with God. Who are we to negotiate with God? I mean, do we think we're some kind of heavenly lawyers here that we can lay out some negotiation plan and God's going to sign the bottom line and all is well? No. We've already been bought. Jesus paid the price on the cross, so we can't negotiate. Everything's paid for. So it's our mindset, it's our behavior, it's our attitudes. We have to change them. Too often we think that if we tell somebody something and they don't follow through with it, that they're the ones at fault. Think about this for a second. Expectations. Have you ever told someone you needed them to do something to come back and find out they haven't even done what you asked them to do, or they've done it but didn't fully follow through with what you wanted them to get done? Expectations. We find this a lot of times in marriage. A lot of times in marriage we expect our spouses to do things, but we fail at telling them what we truly expect them to do. For instance, this is simple right here. Hey, can you you talk to your wife and she's going to cook supper. You're going to come home at 5 o'clock. She's going to have dinner ready for you. You're going to, everything's right. You're going to be great. You get home and there's something brewing on the stove and you find out what it is and you're like, nah, that's not what I really wanted for dinner. But did she not fulfill the expectation of cooking something for you for dinner? Now, on the other hand, if we would have said, hey, dear, I want to have pork chops and mustard greens and mashed potatoes and homemade biscuits for supper, and then we got home to gourmet Wolf brand chili and hot dogs, then we can say our expectations weren't met. Then there might be a room for us to be upset. Chances are, if that's what happened, there were some other things that led to the fact that she didn't make what you wanted. So let's find out, what are the expectations? What are we clearly trying to have done here? It's not simple enough just to ask a simple statement without fully clarifying what we expect to happen out of that. Your wife may ask you to go clean the porch off, but if she clearly tell you that, hey, I need it done by 4 o'clock today because tonight we got friends and family coming over and we're going to barbecue on the back porch. See, now I have a clear expectation of when, where, why, and how. It helps, right? Too often we drop the ball on making clear our expectations. God has not done that. God has clearly outlined his expectation. He says to put on therefore as the elect of God. We're the children of God, so put it on. If you are a child of God, you should be having mercy and kindness and humbleness of mind, meekness, long suffering. There's one that gets me. Are you that way? Long suffering? You got this one brother or sister in the church that always gets on your nerves, and that you've been enduring longly, dealing with them. Chances are God's dealing with them about it too. We just need to be patient and love them the way they are. Quit expecting people to be perfect. Too often times we think they ought to be better than where we're really at. We hold an expectation for them, but yet we're not even clearly making that expectation ourselves. You know, if we would just love people where they're at, we take a lot of the pressure off of them being something they're not, which is perfect. There's only one perfect person that ever walked this earth, and that's Jesus. So why do we expect other people to be perfect? Why do we expect other people not to fail? Why do we expect the preacher never to stumble and have issues to deal with? He's not perfect. He's a man. Yeah, we all should have high standards for those positions, but I'm not getting at that. What I'm getting at is we all have troubles. We all have problems, and we all have these things that we deal with. So having long suffering, having meekness, having kindness, having forgiveness for one another, that's where love comes from. When we act upon those things. See, God loved us so much that he gave his son. He died on a cross. Jesus loved us so much that he went to the cross. Yeah, there was an opportunity in there where Jesus could have called the angels down. But he didn't. He died upon the cross for us. Kneeling in that garden, he says, Father, if there's another way, but if it's not, I will go to the cross. Simply put, God, I love these people so much, and if there was any other way that I could save them, I would. But I know that this is your plan for me to die for them, for me to shed my blood for them, so that they may be saved. See, that's love. Now, I ain't asking you to go out there and hang yourself on the cross, because that's not going to do anything. But what I am asking you to do is find forgiveness, find love, find patience, find long suffering. Change your mindset. See, Jesus can't change your mindset for you. He's not going to. You have to choose to do that yourself. Attitude is all in yourself. Attitude is all about perspective. If you change from which perspective you see things, you may change your perspective in which things are. Think about it like this. Standing on the ground in the middle of the street in New York, looking up at the Empire State Building, one of the tallest buildings in the world. Looking up, man, how massive is that building? Do you think that you could conquer that building? Not in the least a little bit. Now check it from this perspective. You're flying across New York City, and there it is, same building. Can tell it because it stands beyond the other ones. But yet, from your perspective, it's no longer nearly massive. Matter of fact, it's so small, it's hardly really seen at all. If it wasn't large in itself, it may not even stand out to you. Changing our perspective, looking at things from a different perspective, changes our mindset. You're dealing with someone at church, you're dealing with somebody in your family, you're dealing with somebody, a neighbor. Try thinking of it like this. They're human. They struggle. They have issues. Things go on in their life. They have family they're dealing with. They have medical issues they have to handle. What is it that they're dealing with that's caused them to be acting the way they are? What is it that's caused them to be in the mood they are? Are they struggling with something today? Maybe you could just pray, Lord, I don't know what it is that they're dealing with, but please help them, because obviously this is not them. They're dealing with something. But we're too quick to judge. We're too quick to cast stones. We're too quick to throw in the towel and quit, or whatever it is that we're in that's connected to them, because, man, they've got a bad attitude. Truth of the matter is, we're all struggling. We're all fighting battles. We're all dealing with things that others don't even know about. Some are so internal that we not even told our spouses, you know. People deal with depression, oppression, loss. I mean, you name it. There's things going on in folks' lives that we're all dealing with. So, long suffering, it's there. It's a mindset. Jesus doesn't change behavior. He changes a person's spirit. And that spirit inside of us changes who we are, if we'll listen to it. See, because in the mind, there's a thought. In the mind, the thought turns into an action. Action becomes habits. Habits change our character and destiny And character changes what our destiny is. So all you got to do is think differently. It's not magic. Think differently about that brother or that sister or that neighbor or that fellow family member that you're struggling with. Think differently. Love them in the state they are in right now. Love them. If you change your mindset, it'll change your actions. And if you change your actions, it'll change the habits you've had towards them. And if you change your habits, guess what? Your character's changed. And your destiny is no longer going to be the same. So yes, Jesus has an effect on us because he changed our spirit. And our spirit, if we'll listen to it, will tell us. But then it's up to us to change our actions and our behaviors. Hey, this is JD Ministries. Check us out. We're at jdministries.net. Check us out on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. We're at J. Danner Jr. Ministries on Facebook. Hey, like us, follow us, give us thumbs up. Hey, the Active Fathers is coming out soon. And I just can't wait until it's out. I'm so excited about the book. Waiting on an individual, I think, may write the forward for it and the final editor's draft to go through, and then it's off to printing, and it'll be on Amazon. You can order a hard copy from there as well. News is that I finished the first book of my trilogy so far, and it's going to be more than a trilogy. It's going to be a collection rather of my children's book, and I've got it over to a lady